Okay, we're live. Let me just post in the page just so everybody knows that we're ready to roll. Because I know we were running a couple minutes late. So, welcome for anybody who's on. Sorry guys, we'll get started in just a minute. We're live. Okay, I'm so excited. We've already got people jumping on, so that's exciting. Welcome, you guys. I know we're a couple minutes behind, so I'm sorry that, we just had to do a little briefing beforehand, but welcome to Team Fitspiration monthly webinar. I don't know, we don't really have a name for these things, but we're back in the game with regular webinars, which is really exciting. And if you guys are on the team, obviously you are if you're watching this, then you have seen Jamie Glassman gracing the top of all of our leaderboards for months now. And if you're like me, you're probably like, who is this girl? So I figured this was a good time to get Jamie on and her upline coach, who's my personally sponsored coach, Meghan Tucker. And so I'm so excited for what we've got tonight, you guys. And we're going to probably condense a ton of info into an hour. If you have questions, let us know. I'm not sure if we have Q&A turned on the YouTube webinar, but if not, we'll get a thread going. But my name's Stephanie Chico. Team Fitspiration's been around for 5 years, you guys, and I'm so proud of this team. We've all hung in with us for, however long you've been a coach. If you've been around for a few years, you know that the business has changed so much, and I've never had so much belief in our company. And I just really am so excited for where Beachbody as a whole is going, but also our team. Like, there's just so much new energy and momentum building and growing, and it's been a really, really exciting last couple of months. So I don't know if you guys feel that too, but it's going to be a really great year, and I'm excited to kick it off with these two ladies. So I'm going to introduce my PS coach, Meghan Tucker. We've been friends for, 6 years now, Meghan.
Mm-hmm.
Like forever. Her husband and my husband played just in spring training, minor league baseball spring training together. They were all over the place, but we finally got to come together in Arizona about 6 years ago. And we just hit it off as friends. I don't think I was even a coach yet. I signed up a few months after that. Meghan was one of those first people that I thought of because she was just super fit, amazing super mom. And she jumped on board not too long after I signed up. And it's been really exciting to be on this journey with her. So she is a 10-star diamond coach, right, Meghan?
Mm-hmm.
3-time, I'm like, I should get a refresh of your stats. 3-time elite?
3-time elite, yeah.
3-time elite. So just like an amazing leader in our team, and just an all-around awesome person. If you've met her, you love her. There's no doubt about that. So Meghan, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to let you kind of set up Jamie and set up the topic for tonight. So
Cool. Hello, everybody. So yeah, so excited to be here and be able to bring Jamie on this call, you guys, because honestly, she's just been like this amazing breath of fresh air. If you've been in this business for more than a year, even if you were in this business last year, you know that last year was kind of a growth year for us. So it's like, when you stick with something for a long time, any business, you're going to see the ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? And so like, for me, I feel like Jamie has come in and reminded us all of what's possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like by her doing what she's doing and accomplishing what she's accomplishing, it reminds me that like, dude, like this is still possible, because I know for me, I was a lot like Jamie when I first started, and so watching her come in 5 years later and being able to still pull the same kind of numbers that we did 5 years ago just reminds us all that there's still so many people out there that want help, So anyways, I met Jamie. Jamie is a Soul Cycle instructor. She's a Soul Cycle instructor. She's a Barry's boot camp instructor, and she's also a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. So I love Soul Cycle, and I met Jamie at Soul Cycle because she was an instructor there. And I think did you just come from New York, or where did you come from?
Yeah, I had moved from New York to LA.
Yeah, when you're a Soul Cycle instructor, they send you away to do training for 3 months. It's like really intense. And it's like kind of like what we do as coaches, you kind of learn how to just be like a positive person and how to teach a class and inspire people and all this stuff. Anyway, she came to the Pasadena studio, and there was another girl who's now an instructor too, who had was one of my coaches. And her and I were kind of talking, and Jamie came up and she was like, yeah, like I'm really good with the fitness, but the nutrition, like I don't know, like I need help with nutrition, you know? And I said, hey, well, man, that's what we do. Like we have nutrition and we have the superfoods, and I'll bring some next time I come. And then like I didn't come back to SoulCycle for a while, like months, and I think a couple months went by, and we both kind of forgot, but we did become friends on Instagram. So that's like something that's a major key thing that happened right there.
Yes.
We became friends on Instagram, and she kind of just was following my journey. And I don't know, she'll tell you what sparked her interest, but something that I was doing sparked her interest, and she messaged me and was like, okay, look, I want to know what you're doing. Like, will you meet up with me after class one day? I want to talk to you about whatever it is you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing that's interesting, and like I just want to know more about it. So I met up with her. I don't know, Jamie, how much time?
End of September, I think it was. Like
how much time went by in between that? Like 6 months or something?
Yeah, 6-7 months.
Something like 6-7 months went by, right? So this is just a perfect example, you guys, of how continually sharing your story and continually talking about what you're doing is so important, because there's people out there that, you know, like even when I met Stephanie, or after Stephanie became a coach, I kind of like, I wasn't ready to hear it. I was just kind of like, oh, she's a coach. Okay, whatever. And then when I saw her creating what she was creating for her family, I was like, whoa, like this is the real deal. Like I want to do this for my family. So it's really important to like know that the connections that you make, whether or not they happen right away or not, like people are still watching you. So it's very important to continually share your story. So let me get into Jamie's stats real quick, because you're gonna, I mean, even me, I'm like, geez, lady. Okay, so she signed up like the last day of October, she signed up to be a coach. So that October didn't really count because she signed up the last day. So in November, she still didn't know, like, she really didn't know what she was doing still. You know what I mean? She was just kind of like, didn't really know what was happening, but she still hit Success Club. She hit Success Club her first month, and she still was kind of like, not really sure what I'm doing. But and then in
that was October, November.
That was October. You got a couple
like
points.
Success Club 5 or something.
Okay, Success Club 5. So and then in November she got 30 points. She kind of like, okay, figured it out a little bit, right? This is her second month as a coach. December. Oh wait, let me go back. No, I think, did you get more than 30 points? Because we won the November to Remember.
30 on October. November was
okay. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a November to Remember promotion going on where you could like win money for your school of choice or whatever it was. Well, we won, and we each got $1,000. So like, and we won. I mean, I got 10 Success points, but she got all the rest. So we won the November to Remember. So here she is, a brand new coach. Boom, just won an extra $1,000. Then in December, she had like 60 points, and we were like, you know, maybe 2 weeks into the month. And I had told her about there was a promotion for new coaches called the Up and Comer promotion, where you could win a free spot off of this year's Success Club trip to Mexico. And so I told her about it. I was like, look, you're already a Success Club All-Star. Like you could really win this if you want to. She's like, I don't know. Should I do it? Like I already have a lot of points this month. Should I go for it? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Like just go for it. Why not? So she ended December, which is typically a tough month, at 150 Success Club points, you guys. And she won. Like she won the Up and Comer. So she literally, for us, like regular people, we have to pay a deposit to go on that trip. She literally doesn't have to pay anything. Like she just gets invited. Imagine being a brand new coach, you guys, and like achieving all these things in your first few months. To me, it's just like insane. So in all, then January, she was a Success Club Rockstar in January. In her 3 months of being a coach, she's earned 388 Success Club points. So it's like, I mean, I don't even get that many in a year. So, you know what I mean? That just goes to show you like how much of a rock star she is. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys the stats, and also I'm going to let her touch on this too. And I think it's really important, you know, just to talk about the potential. So Jamie is now building a team. She hit Emerald, I think her second month as a coach. In November, she hit Emerald, and she had like 13 coaches. She just hasn't she finally had one hit emerald, or is going to go emerald this week. So she's very close to diamond. But where was I going with that? Where was I? Oh, I was going to talk about income. Just, you know, it can be a touchy subject, but she, in 3 months as a coach, or however long it's been, she's earned $13,000, you guys. She doesn't have a team. She's not really earning team cycle bonus yet, okay? She is retailing. Like, that is commissions that she's earning. She's earned $13,000 in a very short amount of time. Like, how life-changing can that be? And again, just to remind you, she's a reminder to all of us that this is possible. If she can do it, you guys, so can we. So I'm going to hand it off to Jamie and let her share her story with all of us.
Okay, thank you. All right, so like Meghan said, we met the first time, and it like went, I don't know what she was saying, and I just kind of walked away. I think we both left the conversation. I was like, all right, what is she talking about? And then, you know, we became friends on Instagram. I don't know how long after, but I was following her and watching her journey and her posts and everything. And obviously, I think there was something in my brain that kept, like, you know, every time she'd post, it just kept like spinning my wheels. But still, like, that was kind of it. We didn't really have a relationship or anything. And then she would come to class. We would build like a little bit of a connection. And then I think it was July, Soul Cycle, they cut our compensation plan a little bit different, and things were really stressful, and I was really struggling with just like everything. I kind of started to struggle about what was I doing in the next 5 years, you know, like my body's not going to work like this, you know, as a fitness instructor, and just started to kind of freak out about my future. And, you know, it was a really dark place. I was very depressed for like a week once that happened, and I was like, shit, what am I doing? Like, what is happening? And I just felt like I was kind of in a corner. And Meghan just happened to post on social media the most like brightening, happy post, which was, I think she posted about her story and a little bit of like where she came from. If you guys don't know, a lot of my coaches, I don't know if they know your story, but just basically came from, you know, living in a really shitty circumstances to building a high 6-figure income with her family. And I think she posted about that and said something like she's working from home and all this stuff. And I don't remember the exact post, but I was like, all right, what the hell is this girl doing? Like, I got to reach out. So I messaged her because like something, I was ready to hear it at that time. I was like, okay, I'm ready. So I reached out to her. I said, can we sit down after class? And she was like, of course. So we sat down that day, and she kind of was explaining the business. And again, like, it was kind of like just my brain was like going 100 miles an hour. I don't really know, didn't know what she was really talking about. I just was like, okay, yeah, sign me up. Like, you know, I think that's how you feel as a coach. There's so much to know, and you just don't even know what it is. And you're just like, you kind of just say yes. And I think that's a huge part of it, is you say yes. And then from that point on, like, I will say that when the minute I said yes, like, I was 100% in. And like, I think I spent the first month, like, I was kind of waiting for Meghan to give me stuff and tell her like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I was like, okay, Meghan, hold my hand. Like, that's what I was doing the first month. And then once I started to realize, like, you know, she kept saying, like, you're the CEO of your own business. You are running the show. Like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you the resources, but like, this is what you want it to be. And there's something, right, why am I waiting for Meghan to like give me everything and feed me this and spoon feed me this? And like, she's a busy girl. She's a lot of coaches. She's a life. Like, it just, you know, we can't rely on our upline to do everything. So I just was like, all right, I'm going to just learn as much as I can. So like, after that first month, I legitimately spent hours and just so much time on the internet, on YouTube, every time I was in my car, in the shower, folding laundry. Like, I'm very busy. It wasn't like I was spending like my whole life doing this, but any pocket of the day that I had to just listen and feed my brain and be a student, that was what I was doing. So like the first 3 months, like every national wake up call, there's a podcast now that like I was just listening to, every single one. There's not one that I didn't listen to. And same with like Top Coach, you know, YouTubes. Like, I was truly hustling, and I still am, but like those first 3 months, I was like, I'm not waiting for someone else to kind of decide my success and like tell me how to do it. Like, I was like, I got to just do this. And so I think a huge part of my like kickstart was that, like, I knew what was going on the minute I started researching and listening. And, you know, like, there truly isn't a YouTube that's up there that like I have not listened to. And if there is, I'm still listening. Like, I'm always still doing that. I think that's a huge part of this business is like we kind of wait, or you're waiting for someone or something to happen. And like, if you're waiting, then like, so is the success. Like the success is going to wait. Like you got to just like do it. And so I started to really take action and listen to the coaches, listen to what they were telling me to do. I did it and like really started to like make some moves. So
just really quick. So just to go back a little bit, when Jamie first started, she did have some fears that kind of held her back a little bit. Like, you know, she was open on social media, but not like she is now.
Yeah.
Like and it's a conversation that we had because she's like, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. I'm like, dude, just do your Instagram story. Take people through your day with you. She's like, well, I'm like, just take them through your day. Show them who Jamie is. Like, you know what I mean? Let people get to know you. And like, don't just talk about the pretty stuff, talk about the hard stuff. And so she, like, literally, you guys, it's something that just like she exudes. And that's what we're doing here is like attraction marketing, or what, I forget what you call it, but that's what it is. Like, you could totally see a shift from when Jamie was in that weird place because, you know, things were changing with her other job where she was like, man, I don't want to be stuck doing this. Like, I need a different way. And then to where she finds this way, and you guys, you can see it and hear it in her. Like, she's so fulfilled being able to help people outside of her class, you know, and it's something that you can just, it's like a change in her that you saw. So like,
yeah, I think a lot of people have said that to me, people I know, people in my market, like they've said that to me, that they can see the shift. And that alone, I think people are like, whatever you're doing, I want to do it, because like they have seen my whole journey and I was not in a good place before. And in every sense, like I wasn't comfortable with my skin and my body. And, you know, when I went through that first challenge, I would say like, I was really focused on myself because I was like, yeah, I'm a coach, and I had like 2 people in my first group, but I was like, I gotta see if this works and if this is for me. And, you know, and I got those results and I had the best experience. And I mean, I came alive in those like 21, 42 days. Like, so I'd say if you're not working on your own self, like that was huge for me, because it, like, people have watched me become like way more confident, and just, I'm kind of evolving and people are watching that. And I think people are inspired by that, and not just like, oh, you're here, but like the whole growth of it.
Yes, even though she's a fitness instructor and does fitness and all this, really nutrition is so key, you guys. And when she changed her nutrition, she got, you know, her abs were popping. And even I went to class and I was like, damn, girl, you look good, you know? And she has a transformation herself. And that is like the #1 thing that people flock to, man. If you can show them your own transformation, they're going to be like, wow, that's real. I know her, you know, like I saw her do it. Like, yeah. I want to do that too. So you have to be, you know, you have to be working on your own transformation.
Yeah. And I will say that,
like, a little tough love. Sorry to interject, you guys. Yeah. I just wanted to add that I think it's really cool how Jamie is a fitness instructor and is obviously doing all sorts of different workouts, but she's sharing Beachbody workouts too. I see so many times, like, it's a little vague. I mean, I don't know how to word this that's not just going to come off a little bit of tough love. If you're going to the gym, that's cool, but find a way to weave in Beachbody workouts, because you're a Beachbody coach. And if people are just seeing you kind of do your own thing, but then you're like, hey, but join my challenge here too, people are going to be very confused by that. So you've really got to find a way to be a product of the product and have all of the things that you want in your fitness routine, but also share Beachbody. So I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a huge part. I think like I started focusing on that because that was a huge thing for me. Like, I've gone to classes, I've worked out my whole life. Like, I've done it all, you know, and I used to spend like hours in different classes and at the gym. And I mean, I've done hours of spinning like for the last 3 years and my body didn't change. And so that's something I've talked about in my post, because I think a lot of people hit these plateaus. And for me, that was where I was, you know, I worked out my whole life. And then it was all of a sudden I'm working out for 30 minutes a day and I'm getting the dream body that I've always wanted. Like, that was a huge thing for me. So I think people were attracted to that. Like, they know I used to work out for hours, and that's never been an issue for me. But it's those little switches that I made that changed everything for me. And I think that people have seen those switches through what I've been sharing.
So let me ask you just a couple of questions, because people are, I'm sure, even, you know, like we talked about earlier, it's like they want to know, like, how are you getting 100 and, you know, 50, 60 Success Club points a month? Like, what are you doing? How are you getting these people? Where are they from? Tell us, like, where do you find these people? How are you getting so many points? Like, what are you doing?
So I think it first started, it started with my own transformation. Like, you know, whether you have 1,000 Instagram followers or 200, like those are people watching you. And I started to take everyone through my first 21 days. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but like, here's a shake. Like, I don't know. I was learning as I go, and Meghan told me to do it. So I just did it, you know, like I was listening to all the coaches. They told me to do it. And even I would say to her, I'm like, is this working? Like, is anyone listening to me? Am I doing anything? Like, I felt like for the first 2 months, like I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. But then I started to realize that like those little things every day, they do add up. So at first I was like, I don't know, like what's happening. But my first, you know, month or so was focused on my own journey, and I was taking people through it. And then once I had my transformation, you know, I had about like 20 people that were like, let me, you know, I want to join you, because that was like a huge thing. I was very vulnerable, and it was kind of the first time I was really vulnerable. I posted about my journey and explained what it was like for me to go from like, I used to sleep all the time in between my classes. That was like that's a big thing that I talk about, like my naps. Like I used to take those all the time. So I think I talked about like, I went from like being always exhausted to, you know, not being able to, you know, have the energy to go to class and work out. And then I kind of had this transformation. So I talked about that. And I had, you know, I think 15 people in my first group, whatever it was. And then from there, I focused like a lot on those people, because those people I knew you're going to be your marketing. So I really made my challenge groups. Like I was so invested, and I still am. Like those people are your people that are going to share and get the results and feel so good that they're going to want to talk to their friends about it. And that's really what I think. I think that's why I've been so successful. It's like, I'm making sure to take care of my clients. Like nothing bothers me more than when I hear someone is like, oh, I have this program, and then like, you know, I fell off and I didn't have a coach or whatever. And I'm like, oh, come to me. Like I will take care of you. You know, those are our clients. And I tell my coaches all the time, like if you're bringing someone into my challenge group, which like I always tell my coaches they can bring people if they want to start, like you take care of those people. You check in with them. Like you make sure they're okay. You answer their questions. So for me, I think I have really taken care of my challengers, and they have seen results. And it's been like, it just is like this word of mouth. When you have people feeling good, like all they want to do is share that. So I'd say half of my challengers have come from like referrals of before. A little bit is from, you know, whether I'm announcing it in class or talking about it anywhere I go. I mean, it's like, it's word vomit now. I just like, I'm so passionate about what we do and about how much this can help people that there's not a time that I'm not talking about it. Like even my friends are like, all right, like I just want to share it with everyone. So I think I'm sharing it with a lot. And then I'm also like, it took me a while to get to this place, but I like wasn't inviting for a while. Like I was doing it in the big posts, but I wasn't like personally reaching out to people. Cause that was a big fear of mine. And like, just so you know, like I've had all the fears everyone's had. I definitely, like Meghan said, like didn't walk into this, like just fearless. I'm working on it still, like little things. But at first it was like the fear of, you know, posting. And then there's always like something, and you kind of work through it. And inviting to the coaching opportunity, I worked through that. And so I work, okay, I'm going to personally reach out to people. So I started to do that, whether they're friends I just recently added on Instagram or like, you know, connected with. I'm like, I know people and the same people are watching them. And you can see if you go on your stories, like who your top like 20 are. And I was like seeing these top 20, like I haven't talked to some of these people in forever, but they were like constantly at the top of my Insta stories, and I knew they were watching every day. So I'd reach out to them. So I just not recently, I guess a month ago, started like really personally inviting people, and, you know, and then like I'll send a million emails and you only hear like 10 back, and you reach out to them. Like I just did it today, and I was like, hey, I know you know, it's probably intimidating or address I had. I was like, I know that all intimidating, like to touch base and see if you were still interested in my challenge group. I have another one coming up next week. So I reached out to them to see like what I could do to help, because I have like, I'm like pen and paper girl. Like I'm a little crazy, but I have just like thousands of pages of like names. It's not the most organized, but it's my way. So I keep track of people I talk to and reach out to them. And, you know, it's not, I don't think I owe my success to being a fitness instructor. I owe it to just all the connections that I make and I continue to make. And I just, it's
so,
like,
yeah. So
yeah.
Jamie, because I have other fitness instructors, soul cycle instructors. What Jamie's had some soul cycle instructors that have signed up and immediately quit. Like, you know, it's not because she's an instructor that she's having success, or it's because she hustles. Like, she has that spirit of hustle in her. And I kid you not, you guys, she, you know, might teach 3 classes a day, but in between her classes, she's working at night, or she's at home folding laundry or making dinner. She's listening to the National Wake Up Call. She literally eats, sleeps, and breathes this business because that's how bad she wants to have success. And so it's not because she's a fitness instructor that she's having success, because somebody might look at her and be like, well, you're already in fitness and it's easy for you. It's not, you know, when she first started posting, like, I would get the text like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to barf. Like, you know,
like, I'm going to throw up. Please help me.
Yeah. The same things that I would text Stephanie. Like, you know, when you're starting, there's so many fears that you have. But like, what I have to say about Jamie is, like, she is the perfect example of pushing past your fears, you guys. Not one time have I ever seen her let any type of fear hold her back. Like, and she has the same fears that all of us have as humans, but she, you know what I mean? Her why is bigger than that. So like,
and that's something I want to like also say is that, like, I was so clear on like what I need this to be and what I need this to become. Like, from day one, like, I just was so in just a bad place. And I don't know where everyone obviously is starting from, but your why, if you want to build this, like, it's got to be right there. And it always was for me, and it still is. And that's why, like, I find any minute of my day that it's not like I have 1,000,000 hours, but it's like I find any minute because my why is it's so important to me and what I want to build for my future, that like I'll do anything at this point. And I will do what Meghan tells me to, even if I don't want to, and even if I don't think it's working, and even if I'm uncomfortable. Like, all of those things are absolutely real. I'm still uncomfortable posting. I still think about it twice. I still look at my Instagram 100 times. Like, it's all still there. So I don't want anyone to ever think it like kind of goes away. It's just like you work through it. And my why has always been like pushing against those fears. Like, so
what is,
oh, go ahead, Meghan.
No, go ahead, Steph. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm glad you guys touched on that, because that's a big thing. Like, if you guys watching this webinar right now take nothing else away from this, it's to maybe sit down with yourself tonight and have, like, really, really think on that, like, self-reflect, you know, am I crystal clear in what I want out of this? What my why is, why I'm doing this? Because honestly, you guys, I will tell you that every single leader in this team, in Beachbody as a whole, who has been successful, you know what I mean? Like, it's no accident that somebody is successful. It's because they were absolutely crystal clear on why they needed this to work. And that's really what it boils down to. Like, no obstacles too great when you know why you're working really, really, you know? And so, and for all of us listening in or watching, you know, we can come up with 1,000,000 things that keep us busy and distracted, and like, oh, I can't work out today because XYZ. I can't do my power hour or whatever you want to call it because XYZ. Yeah, everyone's busy. But if you really want it, you'll put the kids to bed, or you'll finish all of the housework, or you'll do whatever, fill in the blank, and you'll do it at night. You know, you'll maybe give up an extra hour of sleep or wake up an hour early, like, because it's that important to you. And so this has to be that important to you. So you can't just be like, man, I wonder what it's like to get 300 Success Club points. I may never know what that's like. A lot of us may never know what that's like. But, you know, maybe I could get 30. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I could get 50, because if it's really important to me and I'm talking about it nonstop, like, that's going to be a byproduct. So the points that Jamie gets is just a byproduct of her passion and her reason why she needs this to work.
Yeah, I think that the why is so huge, and like, not, and you know, everyone's why is different. Like, not everyone's, for me, like, I walked in here and I was like, I want a 6-figure income, like, in a couple years, or as soon as I can get it. So that's why I decided, like, if that's what I want in any other job, you have to work for it. You know, that's not just going to come to you. So I've been sitting down and making my business hours. And, you know, if you want a couple $100 a week, like, it's going to be a little bit of a different, you know, work ethic, but your why just has to be there, and what you want and your goal. And if you have a really clear idea of what your goal is, like, there should be nothing to stop you from that, because this opportunity is insane. Like, I feel like I have gold. Truly. I tell everybody, like, there's literally gold, that this is a gold mine that someone is giving us, and the opportunity is crazy. So my goal can be reached if I just do what everyone's telling me to do, you know?
It's taking action. Hey, so I want you to take us through your process a little bit from, like, because I think this might be helpful to some other people. Like, what is your process as far as inviting, and like, how do you, because it took me a long time to figure out the conversation to have somebody sign up with the challenge pack. Like, I couldn't figure it out for like a really long time, and I didn't hit Success Club for a while, and it was something that was really hard for me. But the more that I talked to people, the better I got at it. You know what I mean? You're having instant success. You're getting all these points right away. So take me through your process when somebody, like, do you do forms? Do you, like, what is your deal? Like, when you invite to something, what is your process and what do you do?
Okay. So I did make a Google form. Megan helped me set it up, and that was really beneficial, because I feel like when I invite, you know, not everyone's going to like send you a DM or send you, like, people kind of are less like inclined to do that than they are to maybe fill out a form. It's I don't know, maybe less intimidating. So I made a Google form, and it basically is like a questionnaire for them to answer, like, what's their name? Have they ever been on Shakeology? What's their fitness level? What are they looking for? So that way, and like, what's their Instagram handle or whatever. So that way, when I do post an invite, which, you know, like a call to action, I'll be like, hey guys, who wants to join a challenge group, whatever. Then they have somewhere to go. It's like an actual action, instead of just like, hey, Jamie, like, there's people that I haven't talked to in years that they might not feel comfortable like sending me a DM. So I found out like that a lot of people are way more comfortable just filling out this form and then like running away kind of thing. And then I'm reaching out to them, and it just, I think it's become just a little bit easier. So I have a whole form, and it keeps track of everyone that's ever wanted to do it. And even if they didn't sign up, it kind of gives me this whole amazing list of people to work from. Like, I'll go back if they didn't, you know, say yes or whatever. So I basically have this whole form that's filled out, and I can share that.
Why don't you give, what is your
Instagram? My Instagram is J Glass.
Yeah, J Glass. If you guys, is there an underscore?
It's just J Glass.
J Glass. If you guys want to give her a follow.
So I put that form in my bio because, you know, Megan told me not to ever really include Beachbody, which I think has been super helpful. Like, don't just put your link in your Instagram bio. You know, you want to control the information that you're giving people. So if you're just like throwing a link out there, it's like, I'm going to maybe go Google what Beachbody is. I'm going to Google Shakeology, and like, who knows what they're going to find? Maybe they'll find bad stuff, like good stuff. Maybe they'll find another coach. So you really want to control the information that they're getting. And so when someone reaches out to me, they're not signing up. They're just saying, hey, I'm interested. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I will, you know, send them an email. And it also says what their goals are. So it makes it really personal. When I will send an email to someone, like, I have like a whole template of what they send them. And it really just explains, I go pretty in depth about what the challenge is. A lot of people don't do that. I like explain the container system, how it works. I want to give everyone really a lot of information of like what this program is going to be, so they're not surprised. And at the top, I'll like address it like, you know, hey, Stephanie, you know, I see you want to lose 5 pounds. Like, I got you, girl. Whatever it is, like, whatever she wrote was her goal. I make it personalized at the top. You know, and it's really easy because I'll just like send, because I'm just copying and pasting that, you know, whatever their little tagline is, what they need help with. And then I copy and paste my template.
So it makes
we'll send all that out.
Easy. Like, it's like, you know, it's not like every time you talk to someone, you have to like really, because I know I'm very slow with typing. So like, I'm like, you know what I mean? This is like a set system where it's like, you can get 160 Success Club points because it's boom, boom, boom. You already know what the process is, but it's still personal because you're asking people personal questions on what they want to achieve and what are their struggles and everything.
And then you don't have go. I know they haven't used Shakeology. I know they're looking for this and that and what, you know, all that. Kind of beginning, like questioning.
Your connection is kind of bad. It's like cutting out.
It is. Let me see. Is that better?
Yeah, it was like getting choppy, so we couldn't really hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I made that system really easy now that I can just send out a bunch of emails quickly. And then if they don't respond, I'm going back to them. Like if they don't respond in like 4 days, I have them down and I'm like, hey, like I did today, I had a couple challengers sign up today that never responded. After a week, I didn't hear from them. And I knew they were probably intimidated. Like you have to realize that it's a lot and maybe someone's not going to just sign up right away. So I reached back out to them and I said, like, hey, I know that was a lot of information. You know, if you have any questions, like would love to answer. If you're intimidated, like, let me help you. I would love to clear anything up. And then, you know, a couple of them were like, yes, actually, I'm really scared about the nutrition plan. So you have to realize like people are not just like jumping in always. So the follow-up is huge.
So Jamie, how many times would you say, this is one of the questions that I wrote down to ask you, how many follow-ups would you say on average you're doing sometimes? Maybe that's not a good average, but before somebody does say yes, because not everybody says yes on that first email. Some people, I mean, in my experience, some people don't even answer. You know, fill out the form and then you email them right away and then you don't hear back. So how many times are you going to be like, do you usually say like, hey girl, you know, just following up. I know this is scary. Like, hey girl, just checking back in. Like what's your
I really only do it once. I know a lot of other people do it a ton. Like for me, I don't want to be pushy. When they're ready, and they're watching me on Instagram. I know they're going to continue to see every month. So even if they're not in this group, they're coming back. And I've seen that happen. And like Meghan told me that my first challenge, which like I kind of didn't really believe. And now I've seen so much that like, if someone's not ready at that time, the no just means the maybe or not now. And then they're coming back. So I don't really like, I'm not like, you know, I'll follow up once and that's it. And then, you know, maybe the next month or the next 2 months, I'll be like, if I'm like looking for challengers, if I'm light on the challengers, I'll like go back and say, hey, I know you wanted to do February, you know, but I have March coming up. If you're interested, like I would love to chat more about it.
I like that you go back like a month later or whenever you're starting your next challenge, because I'm not very good at that. But, you know, now I'm like, ooh, I need to do that, because when you use Google Forms, it makes a spreadsheet of all your people and whatever date they emailed into you or filled out your form. So it's like, you know, you have this whole spreadsheet of people that you can like go back through, which I'm going to do now. So thanks.
No, that's a great one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if are we ready to jump into kind of Q&A stuff toward the end, Jamie?
Well, so hold on. I wanted to.
Yeah, I want you to make sure you go through all your.
Okay, I guess I wanted to talk about like Instagram in general, just because I think that a lot of things are changing and there's like a new world of Instagram, and I have really made it part of my job to like keep up with it and like know what's happening and make my Instagram what I want it to look like. I think a lot of the time, if you're not like really into social media, you might not know, but like the curiosity marketing thing is so big. And I know I see people that are like posting like just a shake and like it's not a good picture and they're just like, this is my shake every day. That has no value. I think it's like I really craft every one of my posts. Like I, you know, will write it out. I'll break it up, and like if I have like a thought one day and I'm not posting it that day, I'll write it down into my notes on my phone and I'll come back to it another day. So like different things I'm struggling with that day. It might not be like that post, but it's just stuff that I like will think about and like eventually will craft into a post. But I think like it's really important to think about your social media and what you're giving out to the world and how you're doing it and what kind of pictures you're posting. And that stuff is like, it's like little and nitty, but like that is important. I think like the visual aspect of your Instagram needs to be, you know, whatever your look is. It doesn't have to be the same as mine or Stephanie's or anyone. Like it just has to be your own style. Something I use, an app I use is called Preview. It's free and it's a way to basically, hold on, I'll show you. So like I will, before I post something, I don't know if you guys can see, you can like add it into here and what it's going to look like. So I like to kind of just, before I post something, I like to see what it's going to look like. And if it looks like shit, I won't post it, or I'll do a different picture or whatever. So I think like really taking time on Instagram, if that's where your business is, to, think about what you're posting and crafting it. And I had a coach today that had this amazing, she wanted to like post a transformation picture, and she had like a really long thing with like 85 different like nuggets in there of like things that she struggled with. And I was like, hey, let's break it up, because you don't have like, it was, I mean, so much amazing information, but maybe too much for one post, that she could spread that out into like 10 different posts. One is she's like a single mom and struggled with that. And then it was like out of nutrition. And then it was this and that. And so, find ways to, which I am learning, like, don't think I started like this. I've done my research and learned online, but, I just think Instagram is really important to like think about, and, take that role on that. Like, you're now trying to be an influencer or a business owner, that it's not just like throwing shit up and not caring. Like, you want to care about your craft. I think it's like, this is your business, Instagram.
Can I add to that really quick?
Yeah.
I like love that. I didn't know about that preview app either. One of the things just to add, like, because Instagram is very aesthetic, and it is like, people are very like instant, like visual, if the picture doesn't do well in the first like 15 minutes or so, Instagram rates it lower. So less people are going to see it. So it's turning into a little bit more like Facebook. Like before Instagram, it was like chronological order, right? Now it's a lot of affinity. So you do have to think about that kind of stuff. So, sit down and like give your Instagram a little bit of a facelift. Maybe pick a filter that you're going to use every single time, so that your whole page on Instagram looks the same, very uniform. The lighting's always the same. Your coloring and your filter is the same. A tool, just to add to Jamie's tip, was I use VSCO Cam, VSCO Cam. And it's similar, like it kind of collects all of your pictures, and you can clean it out. So if you're like, nah, I didn't end up using that picture, you can delete it from your file, and you can see all of your pictures just like you would see it on Instagram beforehand. So I hope that makes sense. Just like
it's the same thing probably as preview, like how it shows.
Similar, yeah. And in VSCO Cam, you can have like your very own custom filter. Like you can play with the filters and then kind of doctor it up. And then you can click on the last picture you edited, say copy filter, and then paste it right onto your next picture. So you're not having to like fumble and be like, oh, what was that one filter called? And like play with the exposure. It's the same every time. Such a game changer, such a time saver. So if you guys want to play with that, maybe Google like pretty VSCO Cam filters and find your look that you're really going for. So I just wanted to add that in, just in case anybody's like, oh yeah, I need to give a facelift to my Instagram.
Yeah. And if you're not using Instagram and you're using Facebook, it's time to switch over, because that's just not, I have a lot of people, a lot of coaches have been adding me on Facebook, and I'll like occasionally post on Facebook, but I think just like where we are in this day and age, like we're heavy Instagram. The world is on Instagram. So I think that if you're not running your business on Instagram, you should be. If you're not using Insta stories, that is incredible and huge. And I'd say that is part of my success. Like no one, I just feel like no one's posting on Instagram like 3 times a day anymore, like actual pictures. It's like, and if you are, then you shouldn't be. It's too much. But post like once of a real picture, and then your Insta stories is like you can post 100, and they're quick, and they're more of like what your life is like. And I think also keep that in mind, is that you're not just a health coach. And people ask me, like some of my coach asked me if they should start a new Instagram, and like that's no. Like you should be your life, who you are, what your kids are, your boyfriend, like. You got to include it all. And people, think about the people that you follow. Like you don't just follow them because of that, like because of their clothes they wear. Like you kind of like get invested in their life, and your followers, whether there's 200 or 1,000 or 5,000, like they just want to know about you and who you are. And that's why they're going to be attracted to you and your business.
Nice. Megan, do you have any questions for Jamie? Jamie, did you have anything else you really wanted to like share? With you're finding people through Instagram. I know you talked a little bit about that with your top 20.
So I use, I will be fully open about it. I use this app called Gramista. It's Gramista, and it's like, I think it's like $20 a month or whatever it is. You could do it for 7 days, and it just kind of builds your Instagram, and it gets your it builds your following. And at first it can be very overwhelming. I'll tell you, like, sometimes I look at my Instagram and I have to put it down because it's 1,000 people I don't know. And like, it's a little overwhelming because it'll add people to your network. And then eventually, like maybe a couple days later, it'll unfollow them. It like does this whole thing. So
just really quick, though, I just want to say with Jamie, like she understood the value at that. She understood that she's running a business, and right away she was like, what can I do to help my Instagram? And so for her, a $20 investment into connecting her with more people was worth it. And, you know, I know a lot of new coaches starting out, like I didn't have any money when I was starting out. There were tools that I wanted to use for my Instagram that I didn't have the money for. So I couldn't do it. But finally, you know, that was a goal of mine. I got to the place where I could invest money into Instagram and growing my following. Jamie got it right away. Immediately she became a coach, and she's like, Instagram is going to be my place of business. I need to figure out how I can get more eyeballs on my stuff. Mm-hmm. So she invested whatever it is, $20 a month.
Literally 20. I mean, you know, and that's, you know, whatever that $20 is to you, like you make it work because that's your business and it's going to pay off so quickly. So I've had a lot of new followers, and then I'm always kind of telling my story, and they're continuing to follow me because they're watching what I'm doing, whether they're talking to me or not. They're still watching. And then I see them being like, what is this challenge? Or what are you doing? What, you know, so the more eyeballs you can get on you, the better. If you're someone that posts a lot, which you should. If you're not using your Insta stories, that's, I'd say, number one, the biggest problem, because that is something that like people want to know who you are. They want to know if they vibe with you. They want to know if they can trust you. And I think Meghan, this is something she told me from day one, like consistency is everything. And if you show up every single day, like I have since the minute I showed up, like the minute I started coaching, like I am always drinking my shakes. I am always doing my workouts, and I'm posting about it. So people know they can trust me. And whether they saw me the first month or 6 months later, like I'm doing the same stuff. So whether they're going to hop on now or later, they know I'm here. I'm just trying this coaching thing out, like see what happens. You know, they have to build a trust for you and what you're doing.
Right. Yes. And be a student, you know, like I think what a lot of people do is they spend a lot of time watching other coaches. Like, don't get hung up, you guys, by going to Jamie's Instagram tonight and like just looking at what she's doing and like, ooh, that's really good, but I can't, you know, like, but this, I won't be able to do that. Or like, ooh, that's so good, I don't know, you know, study it, like understand, like that's her style. That's how she's telling her story. Take little tidbits, but put them into action right away. And don't let studying other people like scare you off, you know? And also,
yes, use it for
use it for your own good, but also don't let somebody else's voice like creep into your, you know, your headspace so that their voice becomes your voice. Be really careful of like following too many people. I know, Jamie, you talked about that the other day when we chatted to plan this. You were like, you know, I follow a lot of the people that I really vibe with. I make sure that they're people who, you know, our styles are kind of similar. We have similar interests, you know, but I try not to get too involved in following everybody because that just kind of, it silences you in a way. So
yeah, it's exhausting when if you're following a lot of coaches, that's all you're seeing. And so it's like, you just become, I mean, I follow a decent amount that I love to watch, but find the people you vibe with. And then like the other people you don't, you know, it's just like, then you're just seeing constant workouts. We're all doing the same shit. So like having too many, I think just becomes like such a clutter, you know, and you're just like get confused and lost in your own head. And like, you know, I'll find like the top people that I vibe with and I'll look at what they're posting and I'll kind of say like, how can I, you know, turn that back into mine? Like I used to be a first grade teacher and Nikki Whiting, that's what she did. And so, you know, some of her posts really, they resonate with me because that was how I felt. So like, things that she says, I'm like, oh shit, that's me. So like, I'll take a piece from her. But like if Meghan's talking about her kids, that's not necessarily what I can relate to. So I think find your people that like really are going to inspire you. And then the other people, you know, they're doing their thing and maybe killing it, but that might not be like how you can, you know, find your voice.
Right. And that's how you're going to find your people. Like if you're trying to speak to everybody, you're trying to be everything to everybody, you're never going to find your tribe of people. Like you're going to find that you're attracting people that you have probably zero in common with, and you're not going to know how to help them because you can't relate to them in any way. And so it becomes an exhausting job where this should be a joyful job, and it should be about finding maybe just like those 2 to 5 people a month that you're like, I love this girl, you know, like I want to hang out with this person. They want to hang out with me. Like that's what this is about. So I don't know. I just wanted to add that in there too. Do you have anything to add, Megan? Because I have one more question, and I'm going to check and see the Q&A threads, but I just want to make sure we're not leaving anything else out.
I think they're good. I think we covered everything that like we kind of wanted to cover.
Okay.
Oh, maybe just real quick talk about how, because Jamie was so funny. Like, I don't know, she was like a month in and she had like 9 coaches, and I'm like, that's amazing. Like for me, it took me a really long time to get 9 coaches. So like, she was like, I feel like I'm not doing very well. And I'm like, bro, like, are you serious? Like you're doing really well. And so I just want to maybe talk about for the newer coaches, how she's signing up coaches.
I guess, I mean, that was a huge fear. That was like one of the biggest fears I had to work past. I was like doing straight retail with no coaches for 3 months. And I think I was like, okay, the next week I'm going to invite to coaching. And the next week, like I was definitely stalling on that. And I kept saying to Megan, okay, I'm going to start recruiting coaches then and then. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, I was like, coaching has done so much for me, not even like financially, but just like in my heart, you know, like it's brought me a lot of joy. It's given me just, what has it done for you? And I think that it truly is something to share. And I see so many people that I could help, like, and so I've just started to share it with people, and my challengers who crush it. Like, I'm like, you're doing what I'm doing. You know what I do. It's not a hard job. We're everybody's biggest cheerleader, you know, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So for my challengers that are really kicking ass, and I see that they're posting a lot and they're encouraging people, and those are the people I'm like, hey, like you would be an amazing, you know, amazing coach. And then whether they say yes or no, like whatever, and then I move on to the next. So that's, and on Instagram, I'm reaching out to people that I see, like there'll be a random stranger that I just got added from that app or whatever, and I'll reach out to them and I'm, you know, hey girl, like I love your Instagram. Like, you know, there's a lot of people like who are just posting selfies and like their workouts for no reason, and they're not getting paid for it.
Girl, make some money, honey.
Yeah, make some money. You want to make some money posting those pictures? Yeah. So I reach out to people. I'm pretty fearless now with it, because especially if they're not in my warm market and I don't know them, I'm like, hey, you want to, like, I'll start a conversation and I offer, and if they bite, great, and if they don't, I'll never, you know, oh well, move on to the next.
And you're planting the seed too. Like they might not bite right now, but they might keep watching.
Oh, and there's a couple that I know are still watching me, and like, so I think just, you know, I'm getting better at it too. I'm trying to get better at it too. Like just invite. I tell my coaches, like, just sit down and just find 5 people, whether it's 5 or 2 or 10 or whatever you can do. Like the more people you can share this with, whether it's the coaching or the challenging, like that's when the people are going to start coming. And if you're not inviting, it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about this the other day too, kind of the difference between recruiting and sponsoring. You know, the people who are like, hey, that coaching thing sounds kind of fun. Like, I think I'll try it, you know, like those kind of conversations. Or maybe the people who want to sign up for our challenge group and we're like, hey, you can also get 25% off, you know, if you sign up for a coach account. And they're like, okay, sure. To me, that's sponsoring. But quality, like recruiting, is what Jamie just talked about. Like, you're doing what I do. Like you're coaching people in this challenge group. You're posting these selfies. You're working out and you're not getting paid. Like, I want you on my team. To me, that's recruiting. That's like going out and like finding those quality additions to your team and just telling a lot of the time when I was a new coach, I told people why from my heart I thought that they would make an amazing coach. You know, and sometimes that is a little bit uncomfortable at first. And sometimes people will be like, oh, that's cute that you think that, but no, you know, hard pass on that. But it's okay because, and some people said no, and it's been a hard no forever. But a couple of them did come around and like it word out. And I think people can really respect somebody for not just a copy and paste message, you know, like, hey, join my team. You can be in my fitness group. Have you these groups on Facebook, you can join. It's like people know when you're being genuine and not, you know. So I love that. I think there, you know, it's a little scary at first, like light some candles, get a glass of wine, like put on some slow jams or something and just send some quality messages. It's not that scary once you get going. So,
okay. Oh, just another point really quick, which is what I've been focusing on lately on Instagram is like, if I find people that really good coaches, like I have this one chick that I'm talking to right now who in my mind, I haven't said anything to her yet, but I'm like, like I want you know? But I'm just conversating with this chick because I don't know her. So I just want to get to know her. I mean, I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but in the back of my head, I'm like, eventually I'm going to ask you if you want to do what I'm doing. Because here's the thing with Instagram too. It's like, if you're messaging with somebody, your stuff is going to show up in their feed. So I know that if I'm messaging with this chick, she's going to see my stuff because I know I'm messaging with her and I keep seeing her stuff. So it's like you got to be brave. You have to be brave and invite, right? And if you find like a dream team person who you're like, man, this person would be so good at what I do, like you can get really brave and invite them, or you can really just build a relationship. In my mind, I'm like, I'm getting to know this person so that they know that I'm like a real person. I'm not just sending them a message like, hey, like Stephanie said, hey, join my team, or hey, you know, there's so many of us out there now. There's so many Beachbody coaches. Not everybody does it the right way. So a lot of times people have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to you saying, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. And that's why we're talking about curiosity marketing. When I talk about my workout programs, I talk about them like they're mine. I talk about my shake, like my superfood shake. I don't say that it's Shakeology because I want people to ask me what it is. I want people to ask me about my workout. I'm not going, hey, I mean, I haven't even really said too much about ADD Obsession. I'm just calling it, saying that I started this new program. I didn't even say what it is because I want people to ask me what I'm doing because, you know, there's just so many of us out there that, you know, it's just, I don't know. To me, building a relationship is key. So like that I'm focusing on people that I think would make really great members of my team, just getting to know them. So that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to go in the next 10. So if we could do like Q&A.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, so I think that you answered a couple of questions that I saw that came in, which is awesome. But as far as encouraging your challengers to become coaches, because I know that that's one thing that you're really strong at, or that's where a lot of your coaches have come from, or acquiring referrals, whether that be like challengers or other coaches. How do you encourage people like in your challenge group to be like, hey, post on your Facebook, you know, your progress, or post about your, you know, something you're excited about? Do you make that a part of the conversation in your groups? Is because otherwise, how are your people bringing up?
Yeah, I haven't really encouraged, like I know a lot of people don't like to post about their own stuff on, like at least my people, they don't like to post on social media. So whether it's their results, I'll post them with like a heart on their face, and I'll ask them like, no one will know it's you. You know, can I post your results? Because those are really important to me in my marketing and what people see what this program is. But my challengers, like as far as you're saying like asking them to be coaches, or is that what you're asking?
Well, just like challengers, you said a lot of your challengers come from referrals, you know?
Oh, yeah. So I think just even like, you know, the bottom line is when someone feels good, like you want to share that with someone. So I don't think they're not sharing it through social media necessarily. They're just like sharing with friends. Like people notice. Like I had one challenger who lost like 9 pounds and people were like, girl, you look amazing. What are you doing? And so she told them all. Like, so it doesn't have to be through social media. A lot of the time, my challengers are just sharing with their friends and family because they look and they feel so good that it's like, here, this is what I'm doing. Go see Jamie. Or, you know, and so if they're sending me like 5 people, I'm like, you don't send me 5 people, sign up as a coach and get those people. Like, because, you know, it's kind of like, if you make people feel good, they want to share it. And that's the beauty of this whole business. It's like, it's all a feel good business.
And that's why it's so important to really make your challenge groups your job. Like make them awesome however you want to. Like don't necessarily get sucked into like challenge group templates. Like how can you personalize it so that your people are having a really unique, amazing experience? Because those graduates are going to be the ones like Jamie's talking about that are going to be your biggest business building advocates, you know, bringing you referral business. And you didn't have to tell them. They just feel awesome. So that's a great one. And there's one other question, kind of the same. 2 people asked a similar question. With all of these Success Club points, Jamie, how are you like you said, you're a pen and paper person, but how are you keeping them, like keeping track of them? Do you do like check-ins? Do you add them all into your same, like do you have one hub?
I will say that I definitely got a little ahead of myself in December. I had like 3 challenge groups going with like, 30 people each. So it was an aggressive fight for that trip. And I think like one of my best friends who was doing the challenge was like, Jamie, we thought you were going to check in on us more. Cause like, it was definitely more of like a group thing. Cause there was, 80 people I was trying to deal with. So, and she kind of reminded me, like in my head, I thought, everything is going great. And like, but there are those people that need that extra little attention. So my best friend was like, we wanted you to like yell at us when we didn't do our workout or when we didn't log our shake. And so I was like, it kind of brought me back. I was like, okay, like, so, this challenge group, I do have 3 going on right now, but I was like, all right, I'm not going to let any of those people like slip away. So I made a Google form sheet of like all the names. And then I have like 3 boxes and I'm going to check into them. Like every person, I'm going to make sure I just send them a message at the end of every week and just say like, hey, how's it going? Like, I mean, I'm pretty detailed in my challenge groups and I pop in there every day in a video and I definitely give like a full group explanation of like things and motivation and stuff. But I think people like that. Like I'll, at the end of the week, I'll be like, how's it going? Like, how was your first week? Or how did your shake taste? And they're like, thank you so much for reaching out. Like, so I'm making it more of a point now to do that because I saw in my last group, I got a little ahead of myself and it can be overwhelming. So I just made like a list and, 3 boxes next to each name. And I'm going to check them off at the end of every week, just like once a week to just like check in and say, how's it going? And I told them, I always make a video and I say like, please reach out to me. Like if you have any questions, I'm always available. So I make them feel really comfortable enough to know that like if they're having a personal problem, not a food issue, like I tell them, please Google shit if they're gonna like, like the questions about the containers and like, I'm like, please Google that. But if it's a personal thing and you want to know about, you're having a personal issue or whatever, I'm here to help 100%. So I make them know that. And I also reach out to them 3 times.
That.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. And if you have to jump, Jamie, I totally understand.
I'm okay for 5 minutes, but.
Okay. Because we'll close it up now. But I wanted to say I love that. However you guys feel like you need to keep things organized. I love Google Forms. I'm with Jamie. Like it's the easiest thing. You can have the app on your phone for the Google Drive and keep track of everything. So you can see it through there. You can see it on your desktop. It's connected to my Gmail. Like it's super easy. If you guys are using the Challenge Tracker app, you can message your group members straight from there. Like you can literally click, 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 send a message to all your people and they get it as like a pop-up, a push notification on their phone. So that's a really good track of people and still have that personal touch where you're not necessarily burning yourself out. Like what's your cell phone number? And then you're texting 20 people and having to keep up. You know what I mean? So however you feel best though, if you're on Facebook, make sure you're just maybe every week you write out a new message, keep it in your notepad app, copy and paste, change the person's name, obviously, but send them the same message, but make it different every week, just checking in. I know this week was really tough. We went to 2x15s or whatever the case may be. Leg day was really hard today. How are you feeling? How's your soreness? Like it can be the same for all your challengers, maybe if that makes it easier on you, but those little touch points are so crucial. And that's one thing that I've really made a point to do too, because I realized I was missing that.
Yeah.
So, but it's all about just changing things up. Like we're not all going to have it perfect from the beginning. You're going to find new things and add them in. And so I hope from tonight, you guys got some great tips, some good takeaways. Check out Jamie on Instagram. Watch what she's doing. Like be a student, watch her stories. Jen Richardson did a national wake up call on this same topic. So we're literally hitting Instagram home today, you guys. If you're not doing Insta and you're not on stories yet, that's your homework. Get crystal clear about your why, like all of these things, just such good info. And I hope this was really helpful. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we jump?
I just want to say really quickly to everyone who's watching, and I know we're all like this big team, and I just want to say thank you guys because I came into this and I really didn't know what I was signing up for, but even just this community, I don't know most of you guys at all, but it's this is what it's all about, just building each other up. And I want to say thank you guys for supporting me. Even when someone's commenting on a picture, and doesn't know me, I'm like, oh my God, like that person's so nice, or thank you, you know? So I just want to say thank you to everybody on this team. And I think like we have such an amazing gift that we can share. And if we can like help build each other up and as a team, and like, even if it's not your own personally sponsored, like I'm here to help anybody and at any time. And like, you know, I would hope for the same. And I think this whole community is amazing. And I want to, you know, keep up like what we're doing and just kind of build this all together. So.
And keep spreading it like wildfire. More people need this in their lives. So we have to share that. You know, that's our job. Yeah. Like, it's amazing that we get to do this.
Yeah, there's literally never a shortage of people that need our help. So it's like, at first I was like, oh my God, there's so many Beachbody coaches. When I started like listening to numbers of how many there are, it's like there will always be more people that need our help. Always, always, always. So don't think that, you know, just because you're not finding them, like you got to work a little bit harder and do different things to find them because they're there. So,
yeah. True. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much to Jamie and Megan for being on this.
Thank you. It
was so good. I'm just so proud of Jamie. This was like your first big webinar, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was really scary, but I think I
did amazing.
You did amazing. If you guys have questions after you're catching the recording, just comment below. We'll jump in and try and help troubleshoot and answer questions. But I appreciate tonight was a long one, but it was a good one. So thanks for your time, guys, and have a good night.
Thank you, guys.